Okay, today we are going to change the nose on a 68 bay window bus. I've seen a couple other videos and I figure I'd make my own. I'm going to try and make it a little shorter than everybody else's. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to try and remove the doors, the bumper, lights, the grill, the windshield wipers, and then we're going to cut the windshield out of it. The rubber's easier to cut and save the glass. After we get that done, we're going to come in and we're going to take a grinder and we're going to cut right along this edge, and we're just going to grind the very edge of it. Once that's done and this grill is out, we are going to cut a square right up around that grill. Separate the top line, and then the whole nose will come off. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this door. And by removing the door, it's pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and open it up. I have a few tools. Honestly, I've already loosened it up because I'm doing this video by myself. But first we have a 6mm Allen wrench. I have a pair of wire cutters, a small body hammer, and a propane torch in case you got to heat the bolts up just a little bit, but be careful and don't burn your bus up. So first we're going to loosen up these two bolts on the upper hinge. Then we're going to go down here, we're going to loosen up these two bolts on the lower hinge. And then in the center of the door is a pin, and on the bottom of it, it has an E-clip. So you're going to want to take the E-clip off. And then you're going to take your hammer and you're going to hammer up this little pin. And once you got it up a little bit, you can now take your wire cutters and lift it up, and it should come right out, no problems. There we go. It's gonna have a little bit of pressure on it because the hinges are loose, and now at this point we can take the rest of the bolts off and lower the door down. And now that the door is out of the way, you just go over to the passenger side and repeat the same process. Once the doors are out of the way, you can see we can get in and work on this entire edge freely and open. In a minute, we'll pull off the bumper as well. Okay, now that we have the passenger door off, I'm just putting the bolts and the pin back in place so that way I don't lose them. I'm kind of a mess doing this in my driveway. There's no cool shop, factory sponsored tools or anything going on. So the next thing we're going to do is try and remove the antenna. And underneath the dash, I don't know if we could see this, is the back side of the antenna. The upper wire you can unscrew, and then there's an 8mm bolt on the bottom of it. The antenna wire, you can just normally reach in and get your hand in there. At that point, unscrew it, and then take off the 8mm bolt, and then the whole antenna is going to slide out this way. Once we're done with that, we're going to remove this 8mm bolt on the windshield wipers, both as well, and then the windshield wipers will come off. We're going to remove the headlight, the lower running light, the license plate, and then we're going to crawl underneath the bus, and it's a couple of 17s, and we right here are going to unbolt the bumper. So I don't know if you can see, but yes, the bottom of the bus is completely rusted out. Okay, so I wanted to show you what's going on here. Here's the antenna has been removed. I've already got it out, and I've kind of put it back together so I can show you what's going on. This is it right here. So basically it's a lower nut. Sorry, trying to hold everything. This cable just unscrews. I had to put a pair of pliers on it, some corrosion. And then once the cable is out of the way, you have to get that nut off right here. This nut is the final nut that holds it all in place. Let me find a place to set it down. So once this nut right here comes off, sometimes it comes off of this outer piece, and then sometimes this whole piece just unscrews to actually remove it from the body. So now that I'm getting this out, I'll show you the corrosion. So sometimes the nut comes off of here, and then sometimes this comes out of it. Whatever happens, as long as the body is, the antenna is out of the body. So then next, it's just screws here on the headlight rings, and then there's 3 more inside, and then the 2 screws for the outer cover. We're gonna go ahead and remove all those, and the grill, when we pick back up, has a couple of screws in it here, and here, just over on this side, here, and here. So I believe that's 6 screws, and then we're going to remove the grill. Okay, I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. First, the windshield wiper. This is the windshield wiper. That is the 8mm nut I was talking about. Basically, you just tighten it up and it pinches the together. So you loosen it up and rotate it, and it'll come off. Underneath it is a 17mm nut. You're going to want to take off both of those, so that way the windshield wiper motor stays in position when the nose skin comes off. The squirters, I go ahead and normally leave them on until I can reach inside and push the clip and get to it a lot easier. The headlight, after we have the ring off, on the inside is a bunch of screws. Some of them hold the chrome ring on, some of them are for adjustments, and some of them hold the entire light bucket in. The ones we want to remove are the ones that hold the light bucket to the end. So we're going to remove the small ones, and there's 3 of them. One here at the frame, right here on the frame, and one down here on the frame. You can see it's a little rusted out, and then there's one in the center that seems to be missing. It goes right there in that little hole right there. Welcome to the wonderful world of Volkswagens. Everything's not there always. Next, I was going to show you is the lower running light. We're going to remove the 2 outer screws. The lens will come off. Then we remove the 2 inner screws. The light bucket will come out. We go ahead and pull it out, and inside is 2 wires. This is where I like to get a marker, and I just write white on one and black on the other. So I put a little W, and then I come over here and I put a B. Oh, sorry. I put a little B on this side, so that way the wires go back to where they were. Repeat all the whole process on the other side, and then we'll move on to the getting the grill out and the bumper. Okay, so we got the grill out by removing the 6 little screws that I showed you before, and that grill just comes right out. Behind it are some vents. They're controlled by the handles. Then we went down and took off the bumper. The bumper was 4 bolts on each side, 2 17s, in the center, and then over here on where the step is at is 2 more 13s, and that is on both sides, and then they're directly underneath the bottom of the bus, so you can't miss them. Next, I was just kind of showing you why we're doing this job, but next we're gonna go ahead and cut out the windshield. And I like to cut it from the outside, and I'll pull up, and then I'll reach inside with a knife and cut the inside of that out. So any razor blade, knife, anything you got, and just stick it in and through the side and run it right along the windshield and down and around, all the way around the windshield, and then it'll open up, and then you can go inside and push the windshield out. If you would like, you could put a ratchet strap around it, doing it by yourselves if you're afraid of the window falling out. But at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it out so we can get some power tools going and start cutting and grinding. Okay, now we have everything stripped off, just down to the bare skin that we're going to cut off the actual bus. Just kind of showing you a quick little reason why we are replacing this skin in the first place. Just straight up cancer, body rot. This piece right here is the actual inside of the dash, inside the window. We'll repair that at another time. They all rust out right here all the time eventually. So basically the next thing we're going to use is just the old school grinder, whatever kind of 4-inch grinder. We need 2 bits, 2 discs actually. One, a thinner cutter, and the second one is a thicker version, is just a grinder. Any name, brand, don't matter, just as long as it can cut metal. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here with the grinder, and we're going to cut right along this line right here. It's kind of hard to do looking through the screen. We'll cut along that line right there, and then we'll go the other side and do the same. Once we make it inside the channel, we're going to put the cutter we're going to go ahead and put the cutter inside the channel here and keep it at an angle so it runs down through the windshield this way, making sure we do not cut this lip. We cannot cut this lip off. We want to cut this side of the lip down through here up against it. We're going to come back with the other grinder and clean up this lip so the new skin will lay on it. Once that is done, we're going to come over here to the front where the grill section is at, and we are going to take our same cutting disc and we are going to cut right along this line right here that we're placing, all the way around, all the way around. So once we cut this line along the windshield, we're next going to take and change grinding bits, and we will go to the fatter grinding bit. At that point, we're going to put about, and we're going to grind just the face of this lip right along the body line, right along the edge. Just hold the grinder flat and it will grind in about 1/16 of an inch, a couple thousandths. And once I get that done, I will show you what that looks like and how to separate that. So give me a minute to start cutting and grinding. Again, we're going to grind this edge and we're going to cut the front, and then we're going to cut a box around the grill. Okay, so now we've made our cuts here on both sides at the upper body line, and then we changed grinding wheels and went to the fatter one, and we ground just along this edge, and you can see how the edge separates. It gets real thin, and you can pull it off and it separates. You can take a screwdriver and see how it's just like a tuna can. It really just opens right up. So I like to use either a screwdriver or a pair of wire cutters so I can grab the metal and actually separate it a little bit, and it does help me for the places that you didn't grind all the way through. We got to be very important that when we do this, that there's 3 pieces of metal now. One for the outer and one on the inner are the actual skin. The one in the middle is the piece of metal that we're trying to save. You don't want to bend that all up. So that's why I'm just slowly pulling it away. And you can see how the body, just by me pulling, will start to come off. We're going to peel this back and save this inner piece. I can't really do it by holding the phone and recording at the same time. So I wanted to show you that this is how the top and the sides go. The bottom of this one is completely rusted out, but if yours is not, I came over here, the one spot that's not rusted out on this, you can see this is where you cut the bottom line. It's about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch up, and you're gonna go all the way down there because you're gonna want to save this piece of metal on the bottom. You're not gonna be wanting to cut into this face. You're gonna need that and clean it up possibly to put your new skin on if that piece you will be saving. Honestly, I'm changing mine out so it doesn't really matter, but I wanted you to see that this inner piece you may need to save for your project. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull it all the way off now, and I'll show you what it looks like off. Okay, here we go. We got it off. Figured I'd just show you what the thing dropped down on the ground. So basically here is the vent, and you can see part of the nose skin is still here, and this right here is where we cut it. This inner lip right here, from here out, we're going to remove and grind all of this off nice and flat, so that way the new skin will lay down flat. Some people take spot weld drill bits and drill out all of these right here. Man, that takes a long time. I use a grinder, and I just take my time and I cut it all the way across, and it's so much faster. The door jambs will separate. Let me get this in the video, and you can see here how it separates right here, and I just use my wire cutters, grab a hold of the end of it, and then rotate them, and they literally just rolls up. Literally just roll it up like a sardine can, and then pop of it will pop. The spot weld will pop, and then you can go up to the next one and give it a little twist, and then so on and so on, and then you can clean up these edges all nice and clean with your grinder. Then you clean up the lower edge all nice and clean with your grinder, and then your new skin right here will be able to sit up flat. At that point you can mark your cuts for your window pillars and install the new one. So just to recap, here it is all right here. You got your new skin, you got your old skin. Hopefully this helps you out. Basically it's just been a few tools, grinding disc, a grinder and a cutter, a small hammer, a flathead screwdriver, an 8mm, wherever that's at, a 17mm, a 19mm, and a 6mm Allen wrench. Or sorry, a trusty old pocket knife to cut the rubber out. And that's pretty much all you need. Hopefully this helps you out with your project. Good luck, guys.